Pete, would you give us a brief introduction to CSM as a company?
Sure. CSM is a real estate company. We have a portfolio of 150 plus properties, commercial, residential, lodging. Interesting portfolio to try to analyze at any point in time.
How would you describe the difference from moving from an Excel environment, doing this forecasting and modeling process, to leveraging robust technology like TM1?
Well, I think the biggest thing is consistency. You know, in Excel, you know, somebody changes a formula, and you know, somebody changes it here, somebody doesn't change it over there. It's not copied over, so you're just really never sure the data you're getting is correct. Today, by having you know standard inputs, I'm pretty sure that when there's an error, it's usually an input error and not something related to you know some formula. So we're very quickly able to, before we actually close a month, from a forecast standpoint, we run a report, we look at it, say here's 5 things that we got questions on. We get the answers, and we know what we're looking at is very accurate, as opposed to you know having to dive into a bunch of Excel spreadsheets.
Have one GL system which interfaces to our TM1 product, where we do our short-term forecasting, next year budgeting, and long-term forecasting, all in one tool. It's a tool that we are moving all of our reporting to. We can do actuals, forecast, budgeting, and prior year comparisons. You can have multiple snapshots out there, so different versions. We can review the data prior to actually closing the books for a month. Very powerful tools. We have our BI interface with that, where we do what I consider our historical reporting, or our core reporting, our income statement, balance sheet, and cash flows. In addition, we have all of our business line portals that refer to the data, which then interfaces both financial and non-financial information into one tool for our business users. When we were determining if we should use Cognos Planning and continue to roll that out to our business, we had just a limited scope. But we brought you in, and you helped us understand where the future was going, and that TM1 is a really powerful tool. And while it was still relatively new on the market, you helped demonstrate the power of it and help guide us that way. The other area is we were really struggling with data repository. Where should all the data reside? Where should you have financial data, non-financial data? And you helped set that vision, where now we do have TM1 be our data repository, and BI sits on top of it and pulls the data out. So it's one source of truth. I'm not concerned that somebody will come to a meeting with a different set of financial information.
Being a business user who traditionally has an Excel background, how would you describe the value and benefit of leveraging the TM1 engine?
Yeah, I think I mean, a lot of people refer to it as Excel on steroids. Basically, it has so much power because of the multidimensionality of the cube and the TM1 versus looking at this typical 2-dimension. You can get to 3-dimension by looking at different tabs, and you can use pivot tables and such. But because we built a standard model that everybody's using, then you can use that as your basis for further analysis and reporting off of that. It's a consistent thing that you can look at and spin it and look at it different ways. So it's a lot more powerful than Excel from a data source. Because before that, we'd keep spreadsheets and everybody have their own spreadsheet, and the common multiple versions of the truth. And this is like, there's the truth, pull it over here and do some more analysis on it. So we're not always trying to dig up the data, but now we can spend more time doing the analysis.
Joel, thanks for joining us. I was wondering if you could just spend a few minutes articulating how your sales and marketing teams leverage the Cognos business analytics solutions here at CSM.
We actually leverage them in a number of ways. We leverage them in a reporting process and reporting formats. We leverage them in projecting the future, so forecasting. And we also leverage them into predicting the future. We were sort of joking, you and I, earlier about the weather model we have on there. And weather is important to us because weather can predict occupancy and demands in hotels. In some markets, resort markets, weather can negatively affect occupancy and hotel profits. And in some markets, airport markets, weather can positively affect what's going on in our market. So we need to know those kind of things. So that helps us predict the future. Our BI model also lets us predict the future in projecting what's going on for next year. So seeing where we've grown for the last few years, allowing us to lay predictions from market resources over those and predict where we need to go for next year.